Well, welcome to our show today. I'm Doug Bundy, your co-host for Come to Zion.
And I'm Janie Hawley, and we are your hosts for Come to Zion this Wednesday, the 7th day of September 2016. Yes, we welcome you to our show where we share the reason for the hope within us, the reason why the Latter-day Saints are Christians, and the reason why you should be too. Our message not only explains what distinguishes LDS Christian doctrine from non-LDS Christian doctrine, but also why we declare that the only salvation remaining for the Gentiles is for them to repent and to be baptized, and thus be identified in the same covenant and to worship at the same altar as Israel. We have discussed this in past episodes of Voices from the Dust and radio and TV, which you can access from our website, voicesfromthedust.org. Just go there and click on the menu item TV. You can watch the program live there or click on one of the links provided for your YouTube channel, our Google Plus page, or our Facebook page, which are entitled Voices from the Dust.
Okay, well, we are happy also to have with us today Sam. Sam, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. I'm Samuel Richardson. Oh, I forgot to put on my tagline, but I'll do that later. I'm going to put in my email address under my name so that if anybody has questions, I like to think I'm an apologist, so I can answer almost anything that, well, so far I've answered everything that the critics have come up with, so please contact me on my email address when I put it on there. This behind me is the lower lake of Dallas Peak. There's a lake in there somewhere. Yeah, you can barely see it.
I don't know. Well, it's beautiful, Sam. It looks like it's like the country that's high in the Rocky Mountains there above the timberline.
Yeah.
There was near Climax, Colorado. That's what the view looks like. I spent a whole summer living in a tent.
Did I ski up in there, Doug?
I didn't ski in those days. I thought skiing was just for the rich, and we were poor.
Yeah, I've never skied here.
Yeah. So I learned to ski a little bit later on, and my kids, they love it. They're really into it. But in those days, golfing and skiing were for the upper class. It's something that people that I knew didn't do.
Yeah, right. My dad used to call golfing goofing off.
Goofing off.
I guess it's worked for some people, though.
Yeah.
Just teasing.
All right. So here we are, 6 weeks into our new program, Come to Zion, where we discuss the controversy of Zion in the context of different capital cities in the USA every week. And we started with Alabama. Then we went to Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, and now today's Colorado. And already it's been an interesting series. I can't believe it's been that many already, right?
Really?
Time just flies.
On wings of lightning.
But in Alabama, we learned how to humble the people, or how humble the people are. They're not how to humble them, but how humble they already are. Praying in the streets and in the grocery stores is nothing uncommon, the missionary said there in Alabama. And in Alaska, they're really afraid for America. And in Arizona, we saw how hot the religious climate is, as well as the physical climate. I'll never forget that.
No, that was not.
That black lady, we need you. But in Arkansas, we saw how publicly visible the Mormon issue is. And in California, how the LDS Church took the rap on the chin for opposing the progressives' homosexual agenda there. And now, as we come to Colorado, we're going to see something more startling than anything we saw in all the other states, but it's connected to them in lots of ways, so we'll see that. But before we get into it, let's go to our Colorado intro tape, our video here we've put together.
It rises from the vast plains, A glittering beacon for those returning from an adventure or for those about to begin one. It welcomes you with the spirit of its constantly moving people. It entices you with the energy of its perpetually sunny days. Here, the air feels clearer, the sky bigger, the music louder, the beer crisper. Here, skyscrapers are 14,000 feet tall and covered in snow. They beckon you, no matter where you are. They promise possibility. You can follow that call, delving deep into the Rockies, where you will see the world like never before. You can plunge into fields of never-ending powder. You can return the same day to the best outdoor music venue in the world. This place will excite you with its sophistication and warm you with its vestiges of the Old West, inspiring wonder and nostalgia in the space of the same breath. This place gets bigger and better every day as more people arrive from everywhere in the world, hopeful and alive and ready to start something new. This place is on the verge of something spectacular. Welcome to Denver, Colorado.
I made my choice. You can mark this day, the day I pledge to take his name. I will be strong, I will be brave, standing for him as I take my place. I felt the Spirit burn truth in my heart. It's in my heart, and I will stand. I will not fall in a world that's weak. I will be strong. I'll be true. I will choose his way. I know what's right, and I will not change.
Recently by the Mormon Church. The new TV ad campaign is running in 9 cities, and Colorado Springs is one of them. News First 5's Jeanette Hines talked with the people behind the ads about the reason for this campaign. So Jeanette, why is Colorado Springs one of the target cities?
Nicole, the director of Mormon.org said they wanted to target cities that weren't too big or too small, and they also wanted to find places where the Mormon Church was already established. So if people had questions about these ads, they had a familiar place and a close place to go to get answers.
I'm a songwriter. I'm an entertainer.
I am an artist and the mother of 3 beautiful girls.
I can't find anywhere in the Bible that says that I can't love motorcycles.
My name is Chris Carlson, and I'm a Mormon.
The TV ads show regular people doing regular things, breaking old stereotypes about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or maybe more accurately, trying to erase misconceptions about the religion.
It's somewhat wrenching for me to think that someone would misdefine me as a non-Christian when that's so central to everything I think and do.
In Colorado Springs, there's 4 stakes in actual Colorado Springs. So and it's not a huge city. So the church is actually pretty well represented there, especially like my very first area, probably covered about 3 neighborhoods. So it's pretty. There's a lot of members and there's a lot of non-members as well, and it's a really good balance, and that's one of the things I loved about it. Also in our mission we have there's like Colorado Springs, and then there's a city called Pueblo, and then there's a place called the San Luis Valley, and the San Luis Valley actually was settled by Mormons, and so there's especially in some of the smaller towns like Manassas, they pretty much everyone there is Mormon, and and so I don't know, it's very, very strong down there. Like in Alamosa, the city that I served in, we had 3 family wards, a Spanish branch, and a young single adult ward, and there's only like 8,000 people there. So the church is pretty well represented there.
These things happen, quiet Sunday morning, and suddenly gunfire breaks out. Armed with a rifle and hatred toward Christians, a young gunman went on a deadly shooting spree in Colorado.
A night of celebration for students at Denver's Youth with a Mission instead turned deadly.
About a 911.
As their annual Christmas banquet came to a close,
hang on, we're getting officers on the way. I'm going to stay on the phone with you.
The unthinkable happened.
A man was standing at our door. He fired at us.
The lone gunman shot 4 workers, killing 2 of them before disappearing into the cold December night. But that wasn't the end of Matthew Murray's murder spree. Hours later, he struck again, this time at a church in Colorado Springs.
911, this is Sue. Where's your emergency? There's a shooting at New Life. New Life Church.
Supposedly, it went over $2 billion while building this airport. Is that true?
No, I don't know that.
Okay.
I know it was way over $2 billion.
So it went over budget.
It went way over budget.
The following are facts. Construction of the airport fell 16 months behind schedule and went $2 billion over budget with a final cost of $4.8 billion. Here are some of the theories. In the Denver airport, there is supposedly an underground facility meant to act as an emergency bunker for the global elite, made up of billionaires, world leaders, politicians, and celebrities. Another theory suggests that there is a vast underground network of New World Order command bunkers. And another theory suggests that there is a FEMA concentration camp for future use.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories about the airport here when they were first building it, especially in the bottom part, the lower part of it, the airport here, where the baggage comes in.
Yeah. An airport construction worker claimed that the scheduled delay had been because 5 multi-storied buildings had been built beneath the airport. The same construction worker, along with others, reportedly said that there was a complex network of tunnels beneath the airport. It was later determined that these underground tunnels may actually now be home to the airport's rail system. When you enter the Denver airport, there's a horse statue officially titled Mustang, but nicknamed Lucifer, and is thought to be cursed. One conspiracy about the horse statue is that it represents the 4th horseman of the apocalypse, which represents death, spoken about in the biblical book of Revelations.
Its eyes glow red, a weird fiery red in the middle of the night.
The horse statue actually fell on its sculptor, killing him by severing one of his arteries.
We made it to the Denver International Airport dedication stone. If you look closely, you can see that they have the Freemason logo, clear and proud.
The Freemasons are a secret fraternal society that's allegedly the largest in the world. This secret society has existed at least since the 18th century, but possibly as far back as the Middle Ages. The Freemasons have had many powerful members throughout history, which has made people suspicious about the organization's intentions.
The date that the airport was dedicated was March 19th, 1994, and that number equals 33, which is the highest level that you can get to in Freemasonry.
This mural is titled "In Peace and Harmony with Nature" and is supposed to address the destruction of the environment. This mural is titled "Children of the World Dream of Peace" and is supposed to represent the wish to get rid of violence in society.
Just seeing the couple murals that are here in Denver, there's 4 in this airport, the 2 that are on that side and the 2 that are behind me. They're pretty much showing kind of like, different ways of how the Illuminati affects life in every way.
The Denver Office of Cultural Affairs has publicly outlined the process of choosing artwork for the airport. A project selection panel made up of community members and artists is appointed to choose the artwork, but it must be approved by several government committees and the mayor before being commissioned.
3 dead women that look like they're all from 3 different nationalities. We have a letter from a child who died in Auschwitz in the Denver airport. So I don't understand the connection between me trying to catch my flight and having to run into this.
If you look closely at this image of the dedication stone in the Denver airport, you will see it says New World Airport Commission. The New World Order is thought to be a small group of powerful people secretly working together throughout history towards an all-powerful global government. Even if the murals aren't referencing the New World Order, many people in government had to approve of them before they went up.
Okay, well, there's our Colorado intro. What'd you think, Sam?
I liked it. The idea of doing an intro for each of the states we visit. And Colorado seems to have their special things and events, and their unique attractions as well.
Yeah, it's just amazing the range of things that you that have to do with Colorado. But so, what do you think, Janie?
It's a beautiful country, but if all that is true, it's really, and I'm sure some of it is probably.
Yeah, well,
all the underground things, but
they're
theories, aren't they?
Yeah, their theories are. But when they were building it, I saw lots of things that didn't fit in with the normal building of an airport. But you couldn't tell what it was. What they were actually doing, but you're left to guess unless you have a whistleblower on the inside that comes and reveals the beans, spills the beans on what is actually happening. And so far, we haven't had anything like that in Denver or Denver Airport or whatnot. But I love Colorado. I was born in Denver, raised in Pueblo. Used to spend a lot of time in Colorado Springs with my neighbors. Went to youth camp up in the mountains above Colorado Springs there. I love the mountains. I love the prairies, the fresh mountain streams, and the golden waves of grain that I have fond memories of. But there's an ominous side to life in Colorado as well. I grew up having to fist fight my way through school. I learned about drugs and gambling and prostitution and the mob's domination of the dark side of society early on, mostly from their children I went to school with.
What an education.
Yeah. My relatives helped build the Air Force Academy, actually, which is, of course, they're just north of Pueblo in Colorado Springs. And one of my earliest ambitions was to be a pilot and go there as a cadet. However, what I didn't know at the time and didn't care to know really is that Colorado Springs would also become the center of a new religious movement called the New Apostolic Reformation, or NAR. Sam, we've talked about this in the past. We've shown in our programs, we've tried to present different aspects of the NAR. And that was before Janie came on, but it's only recently that we've learned these things, and its relevance has become even more evident now with the brand new publication of the LDS Church of their much anticipated minutes of the Council of 50. Did you know that those had been published yet, Sam?
No, I've heard about the Council of 50, but I didn't know they'd been published.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about it on our show here quite a bit, and we look forward to this publication. And so on the 1st of September, because they said they were going to be published on the 1st of September, I went there, and sure enough, on the Joseph Smith Papers Project website, there was a link. You go to the front page, it didn't say anything about it. Maybe it does now, but it didn't for a while. But I came across it with a Google search, and it's available for $60. So if you want to buy this new publication, it's available now from I think it's in Deseret Book as well as Amazon and Barnes and Noble and those places. But
is this the council that was to study prospective leaders of the nation to see what kind of people they were?
Yeah, really. That was one aspect of it. It was called the Council of the Kingdom of God. And for short, because it had about 50 members, they started calling it the Council of 50. And we're going to try to show how this mysterious 19th century LDS organization is connected actually to this 21st century NAR. We'll be taking some heavy duty explanation to do that, but I think we can do it, and we're going to try to maybe adjust the course of our new series of programs, Come to Zion, to be able to do that over the course of all the programs. So as we go into each state, that's going to be part of our driving force there. But at any rate, the understanding that connection between the two is just that important. It's important enough that we think we could tweak our approach to discussing the controversy of Zion in the religious and political context of the several states of the Union, and this for a couple of reasons, both of which have to do with the Book of Mormon prophecies, which are the words of the prophets that we collectively refer to as the voices from the dust. Our interest in the minutes, which have been kept hidden for 172 years or so, goes way beyond the normal high intrigue of Mormon historians and Mormon students, because of the fact that we, and I underline that word we, identify it with the watchtower in the parable of the nobleman's vineyard that is found in section 101 of the church's Doctrine and Covenants, and what we might call the latest testament of Jesus Christ. So we have the Old Testament, the New Testament, another testament, and then the latest testament. Did you ever hear that term?
Yes,
Jamie?
I've heard it.
You did, huh?
That is the latest.
Oh.
But I don't know what it is. You have studied much more than I am, so I'm here to learn.
Well, I think I coined it. I don't know, but anyway.
You might have coined it, so maybe I didn't hear it.
Well, Lyle Elmore, who's the stake president over there in the Syracuse area, a couple of stakes. Before that was in the stake presidency here, and I was the Sunday school president, and I had made this display, and I put the title for the Doctrine and Covenants, the latest testament of Jesus
I don't know
Christ.
where I would have heard that, I can't imagine. But anyway,
Well,
it is a nice phrase.
Yeah, I think it really fits it well. But this parable is given to the saints, the Lord said, so that they might know his will concerning the redemption of Zion. Now, Janie, I asked you if you'd ever heard about this before, and will you tell us what had you ever heard about this before we started talking about
the
it?
Council of the 50? Not very much, no. I'll be honest with you. I probably read it, but I didn't really know what it was exactly. And so your insights have been really valuable. I'd just like to share some of them.
And that's really true for most members of the church. If you ask them about the Council of the 50, they have no idea what you're talking about. If you call it the Council of the Kingdom of God, they probably think it was the Council of the 12 or something. But later on, we're going to see what the real name of it is. It's really quite long. And it came about because of an 1842 revelation that was given to Joseph to organize it. So that's a pretty important thing, you think.
You would imagine so. Yeah.
How is it that it's not, that more...
It's not in the time for it to be really...
Yeah, I guess. But of course, the historians of the church, they knew a lot about it. And they were very interested in understanding it. And there grew up around those who studied the history of the church a lot of speculation and things. But his will, the will of God concerning the redemption of Zion, refers to the fulfillment of the very crucial prophecies of the Book of Mormon. And those prophecies expound in turn upon the sacred prophecies of the Bible, those that pertain to the time when the Lord would bring again Zion, as we read in Isaiah chapter 52. So this event is just huge, so much so that mankind's memory of it is prophesied to eclipse the memory of Israel's exodus out of Egypt. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. Tell me more.
Sam, did you know that? I mean, that's a pretty huge event, isn't it? When you're talking about something that would eclipse the memory of Moses taking out, what did Cecil B. DeMille call it, his show? Was it the greatest show on earth?
The Ten Commandments.
Ten Commandments.
That was an awesome movie.
Yeah, he had a lot of input from Mormons on that. Maybe Sam will remember the scripture that says the days are coming when the saints will no longer say, "Long live the Lord who brought Israel out of Egypt," but "Long live the Lord who brought Israel up out of the north countries," or something. That I'm slaughtering it.
Oh,
you could probably find it, Sam,
that is an awesome thought.
if you'd like it. But that really does. That makes it a huge sort of event. I mean, if it's going to change our history so much that people will no longer be talking about the first time the Lord brought his people out of Egypt, but it will refer to the second time. That's pretty big.
Yeah, I've read about that a little bit, and the Lord said he's going to divide the earth and bring it back to the way it was in the days of Peleg, and that would be a major change.
That's right. The days of Peleg were the days of when before the earth was divided,
exactly. Right? That was going to be a major thing.
So a lot of the vision that the creedals have, it doesn't contain these kinds of things. And you just break in here anytime you want to, Sam, if you have a comment to make. But this is really immense. This event is just huge, and so much so that mankind's memory is going to be changed. Well, then that means that the minds and hearts, or it helps us understand that the minds and hearts of the early Mormon converts participating in the beginning of this great work was a privilege for them beyond expression. I think they understood these things much better than we did.
Is this
Mormon? Go ahead.
Is this thing or prophecy or talk scriptural, or is it from LDS discourses?
Oh, no.
Discourses.
It's in Jeremiah, I believe. You could find it in Jeremiah when it says the days are coming when the Lord, I can't remember it exactly, but I used to had it memorized, but I can't. You can find it in Jeremiah, though. If you search for the right words, you'll find it. And so anyway, what I was saying is that they understood this. The early pioneers understood these scriptures, these Bible, Old Testament scriptures in the Bible better than we do, and I think they understood how the Book of Mormon expounded upon them, and it just really, enthralled them, and they were able to walk hundreds and hundreds of miles. I've often thought how people today are just too lazy to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and go to church and a few blocks away. And these people, walked, a lot of times riding horses, but a lot of times walking hundreds of miles to get to Jackson County, Missouri. But I'm getting ahead of myself. They went there with the expectation of beginning this great work of the establishment of Zion that the prophets talk about. And for them, it was a privilege beyond expression. But as usual, for all of us,